Peace. Make sure. Peace. Alright, I can be heard there. What we got in there? We got Divine Understanding, Free Cipher, JPF Fallen, King Math, Divine God, Knowledge Born. What is the deal with everyone out there? What's the details? What's going on? We're getting on a little bit late today. I don't know if y'all ever have somebody just start you out early in the day with crazy talk. Just somebody that contacts you talking crazy. You're not even sure what it's about. So I wasted some time doing that today. But what's been going on out there with y'all? Or should we jump right into the topic? Should we jump right into the topic then? Honk MD. Peace. That's a new one. Welcome to the channel though. Nobody got nothing to add on. So should we just jump right into the topic? Luke Cage used to be a 5%, still a phony. See, I know what it is. Y'all think I'm talking about somebody. We're gonna be lighthearted. Yeah, y'all gotta remember this is, you know, they got other channels for that. True Light. You know, they got other channels for that. You know, if you wanna see, smoke and all that between people. But this right here, this extends. Look, this is something that I saw at the like last week, right? I made the last video, right, pertaining to the video that was made in front of the school, right? And like the next day, I was riding around, and it really just hit me that that's a horrible way to have to live. You know what I'm saying? Al-Kim Salam, that's a horrible way to have to live. Like, I couldn't imagine that. Like, when you just got to live your life pretending, right? Like, you make a video at the school when nobody's paying attention to pretend like you be there. Like it's one thing if you pretending, like if you driving, right, and you speeding and you see the cops up there and you slow down and pretend like you wasn't speeding. Or you see the speed camera, right? And so you slow down, right? You play that role while you pass the speed camera, and then as soon as you get out the range, you speed back up. You know what I'm saying? When you saying that you 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 are, so this is who you are. You know what I'm saying? And this is the foundation of that right here. And you gotta sneak to do that. Like, put that in any other context. Julie TV. That's what you gotta do a lot of times, right? Because you get caught up, right? You just close to the situation, sometimes you gotta back out, right? Now look, imagine he was doing that with a woman, right? Or let's not say him, let's just say a person, right? You at the supermarket, right? And see how he like, yeah, we this, we that, yeah, we this. Like you at the supermarket and it's a woman over here, she's minding her business, right? Selecting her fruits, right? And you over here like, yeah, yeah, baby, me and the black women, we over here, get some food, man, before we, you saying all of this, and you pretending like that's another level of it right there. You know what I'm saying, you know, imagine imagine you had to do that. That would be horrible. I couldn't imagine. Especially especially when it's like what's going on, right? Divine truth. What's going on halftime is it's not like you gotta scale Mount Everest or something, right? King Math, like you said, all you gotta do is be who you say you are. That's one real. Don't build it up because now, see, look, once you build it up with your words, now you're the one that's got to make that bond. You're the one that got to live that out. You said, what does the 5% do after abandoning the teachings? What I don't get is why some fools think they can be God and Muslim sin at the same time. I mean, look, what people decide to do, attempt to do, whatever, that's on them. But we're going to get into this when you say, what does a 5% do after abandoning the teachings? See, let me give you a clue as to what direction I'm going to go with that. You see, if you ever was truly a 5%, right? See, that's like being a father. That's like if you said you was a father, right? The only thing that could change that, right, is if you was never really the father. See, no matter if something happens to your kids, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't even want to talk about that, like, no matter if they get grown, right? Like, being a parent, that's something that, when your kids is first born, that's minute to minute. See, any minute, right? They might need something different. You got to be making adjustments, right? They hungry. They got to be burped. They got to be changed. They got to get a bath. They got to lay down. They wake up. They got to eat again. Or you understand what I'm saying? But now as time goes on, right? You know, you hear from them, less and less. You see what I'm saying? But does that mean now that, oh yeah, I used to be a father, but now you grown. In terms of what I'm saying is that look, you know, how active I am with that. If I'm changing diapers every day, right? So I'm saying that that's like, you know, okay, if you building, you out there, you teaching every day, right? Everywhere you go, people is either attracted to you because they want this knowledge, or they repel from you because they don't want to hear that. Or to wait to, you know, look, you might have a job or something that takes you someplace, right? And so now, you know, while you that place, you know, whatever's going on, your interactions with people, you know, you're not as active. But if you was ever really at 5%, right, then I don't see how you could ever say you used to be at 5%. See, that's why I look. Let's get into it, right? See, when people be telling you that they used to be at 5%, right? This is what I'm telling you, right? For those, see, because see now you in the internet world. When somebody tell you that they used to be at 5%, right? You know, they can kind of do that. People can tell you they used to be whatever, right? They was whatever, they survived whatever, right? But what they really telling you is about a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even a couple of years when they was a phony. When you came outside, right, every day, right, you came into the cipher, right, and you built on the degrees and all of that, and you said you was this, and you never really was this. See, those is the people. See, just because something is real, that don't mean that some people don't deal with it for the fad and the fashion of it. See, like gold is really valuable, but there's some people that just deal with the fad and the fashion of it. See what I'm saying? If it's gold plated, that's good enough. If it's golden, that's good enough. If it glitters like gold, that's good enough. See, that don't mean that gold is not real. But how you dealing with it, right? How you dealing with it, that's not the real way. So you talking about people, see, understand this, right? You can't really say that, okay, this person never had lessons. But see, if you know, right? Look, here's how it is. A person, you from a block, right? Or you got a group of friends that you know from your school or whatever. And this is for all of us, G. This is for all of us. Right? You get the lessons from them. God, do you know how many people never left that circle of people and ever said that they was God? They never left off of that block and said that they was God. So they could say, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was God, you know what I mean? My name was Supreme Justice Almighty, Sky Maker of the Rain, and all of this, right? But you never came outside and said that. Like, I'm seeing people, look, I'm seeing people crack him. Look, I'm talking about people that, look, I met you before. You said nothing about that. You see, we ain't talking about fear. We just talking about, you know, was you really this? So you got to remember, see, like I said, you got the fad and the fashion. See, you also got people, and this is another thing that happens that you got to be aware of, because this is something that a lot of times, right, When you run into somebody, right, and they saying things about the 5%, or you see some of these videos, right? See, you got people that was lifelong criminals. And through confirmation bias, the only 5%ers they know is the ones that was doing what they wasn't supposed to be doing. Like, you talking about people that in general, if you ask them, how many people you know that have been to college? So you don't know none of the 5%ers that went to college. And so when you give your assessment, right, of who and what we are, you really just talking about who and what you are. See, because if you was really a 5%, right, if you was God of the universe, universal God, then you would have known that, yeah, it's guys in all walks of life. But see, that's recognized in everything else. So, in other words, this is what I'm saying, right? It's recognized that there's Christians, right? I'm fairly sure that Christians is the largest block of people that get locked up. But see, the whole of Christianity is not judged just based on that confirmation bias. These are the people right here. These people right here, that this is what they about. So you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know the brothers and sisters that's lawyers. You wouldn't know the brothers and sisters that's doctors. You understand what I'm saying? JPF Fallen. It looks like they snuffed your comment out on YouTube, but they put it over here in the stream here. He said, haven't all groups been infiltrated? Yeah. You know, but now see, when you say, could the phony be an informant, what they gonna tell him? What they gonna tell him? I'm saying, like, look, that might mean something for you, right? But look, I'm already Darkim be a lot. What you gonna run and go tell them now? That I was teaching that the black man is God? They know. What they gonna tell them? My file goes back to the Board of Education. And everywhere that I haven't been since then, I've been reported as a 5%. Whether I try to come in there under the radar or not. And look, I know what y'all thinking. I don't have the t-shirt and the hat on. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I try to go someplace incognito with the Yankee on, white teed up. So at this point, yeah, you go ahead and tell him. See, that's one of the reasons. Don't involve yourself with all that crazy stuff, man. Don't involve yourself with all that crazy stuff. See, they already know. Look, it's dangerous now. They already tried to destroy this through so much methods, right? And it just multiplied. So they already know now. Look, only shot you got is if they fuck themselves up. That's why y'all can't fuck it up. You said maybe they only believed and didn't know, because belief can easily turn to disbelief. When you truly know something, you can't unknow it unless you have some severe brain trauma. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Ain't nobody asking you to believe nothing here. And nobody's asking you to believe nothing. See, that's what I'm saying. You know, uh, I can't really call it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But, for me, this is not uh, like a religious experience. Like if you come around me, right, you know, look, you may agree with me, everything up to the clouds, right? Everything up to 6, you might agree with me on, right? But then you can, when I go to 7, you're not ready to go there with. That's peace. Ain't nobody. See, that's what I'm saying. Is maybe because of this day and time, but I'm saying that especially, inside New York City, right? For those years, right, it was a lot of other benefits that, quite frankly, people abused. You understand what I'm saying? Like, see, for instance, look, people get inside of jail, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, they out of their element. It's not even that they soft or nothing, right? But they out of their element, right? So they, they need some people, to they. And listen, a lot of people go to Islam, because Islam accepts you. You see what I'm saying? See, we accept people without judgment, and then we examine them. I mean, don't get me wrong. You guys, we examining people the whole time, but we're not going to judge. We're not going to judge whether or not you could be a 5%, right? Because you did crime, or you dropped out of school, or whatever it might be. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain things that I'm personally, not gonna. You're not gonna be around me if you did that anyway, right? For me to teach you. At best, you could watch the videos or something, right? But you're not gonna. We're not gonna be. You gotta be within a distance, right, where the sound can carry. Right? At a certain period of time, the vibrating molecules, the vibrations start to dissipate. You can't hear me past a certain distance, right? You're not going to be really, we're not going to be in the conversation. And so all kinds of people, they get a what? Everybody gets a chance to live out their birthright. Yakub is who steal people's birthright. So we're not going to just tell somebody, right, that they can't be God. Right? The truth is the truth. And you can't qualify, disqualify, and you can't dictate a person's rate of growth. Right? Like how fast a person, like, yeah, certain things where you like, all right, what I'm gonna deal with you, right? Like, look, it's been 3 years, you're still on the 1 to 10, or value, you never know the day supreme at the max. Now I might say, look, get my lesson. You can learn throughout the universe, right? And somebody else might have the specific knowledge and wisdom that you need. Maybe some other person that's a part of this, maybe some other person that's not a part of this. But see, people come into, you know, the camaraderie. Like I said, you with a couple of people, a couple of your friends, right? And so now you want to be down for whatever reason, whether it's the fad and fashion, right? Whether, like I said, whether it's for a little bit of confidence, you in a tight situation, but you just a part of the group. You never learn what our teachings was. See, if you ask any of them, they'll tell you, yeah, Allah was born in 1929 and his name is Jowers. See, those are the people that'll tell you, oh, no, I never heard nothing but God body. Because they was never universal God, God of the universe. And then now, in this day and time, right, we got to be judged by them. So you got people, right, that they come and tell you that, listen, oh, the 5%. See, you never, you know, I tried the 5%. No, what you tried to do is memorize the lessons, right, and wait for the religious experience. You tried to memorize the lessons and wait for the religious experience. But if you ask them, right, what is the Allah's teachings? Not what the lessons say. See, most of them, they think we believe the lessons. They think we believe in that. CERN love from the neighborhood. Missed us by that much. See, that's who these people is. But look, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Do you see how valuable? See, the different people now, right? The different people now, you complain about the things, right? You complain about certain elements of this culture, right? But you see how valuable it is to people with, look, rich and famous people. People with all types of degrees, people with awards, people, look, you got your own kindergarten, whatever. They want to be us. Platinum records, $1 billion. You want to wear our flag. See, now do y'all see, man, why you when you really be in this, man, what the value of it is? See, now you see what the true value of it is. See, these people come, do knowledge. Have y'all, who's noticed this? Type 1 in the box if you've noticed this, right? Luke K said, what's with the crowns? What crowns you talking about? Who's noticed this? Have you noticed that anytime somebody comes into the class, right? Type 1 in the box if you notice this. That anytime somebody comes into the class, right? And they over a certain age, especially if they anywhere near my age, right? Did you ever notice that I always ask them, what happened the first time? Type 1 in the box if you ever heard me ask somebody, what happened the first time? You know why I do that? Because it's impossible. You couldn't have existed in my time and you never heard about the 5%. So what happened the first time? And I can't recall a time, right? Type 2 in the box if you recall a time where the person said, what first time? This is the first time. The type 2 in the box if you ever heard somebody say that. Because I can't recall anybody not saying, oh yeah, well, I knew this brother and he gave me the lessons, but then, I strayed away from it or whatever, I put it down, and then now that's always the story. You see, I'm just breaking it down for you, Cecil, because maybe y'all get caught up. Maybe y'all get caught up. See, and tell y'all, man, how this stuff happens. See, I have never really built with somebody that went their way, right? But just from observation, right? Now, look, I don't know if y'all saw the video. I just saw the excerpt. I don't know the whole context, right? But it was an excerpt of RZA talking about why he took the Shahada. You know what I'm saying? And the answer that he gave involved the 1 in 36. So, that's something that I could, I see what you did there. Right? I can see how, that's a continuation. That's how you drew up the knowledge and wisdom that we both had. But how you going to tell me that somebody that you go back to being a pig-eating Christian, you go back to being a pig-eating Christian and you ever was sincere, you ever sincerely, right, internally, right, saw this for yourself? So you only studied the lessons, right, because of the external peer pressure. See, the motivation for that, right, when we say I God, right, self-motivating, self-governing, all these things, that never was the case. And see, look, I'm gonna tell you something. This is not a religious program. This is not a religious program. Now, look, there's people on the live stream I've known the entire time I've been 5%. Right? There's other people on here that I've met since but look, I'm telling y'all, not everybody on this live stream is gonna make it. Divine God said RZA was just on Drink Champs. He's a 5%. I mean, I haven't been with him. I'm just talking about the part where he said he took the Shahada, and they asked him why, and he brought up the knowledge culture degree, and then won 14. I mean, in the 136, pardon me. You know, cause see, like I said, listen, people gotta do what's best for them. See, like I said on another live stream, right? Some people need guardrails. Robbie, I met a lot of dudes on that used to shit. They come and go every day. I'm getting used to it as far as self goes. I'm planted on a square. They unlike to a lot. They planted over there. You know, pretty much. Pretty much. You know, and I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna surprise some of y'all new brothers, man. It's that apparently people never stop falling. Like, yeah, it slows down. It slows down. You know what I'm saying? But look, even 40 years in, it's still people where you like, yo, what happened? But that's who these people at the end of the day, that's what they telling you about. They telling you about the brief period of time, the vast majority of them, right? They telling you about the brief period of time when they was phony. When you got down with something, right, because it was advantageous to you for whatever reason. See, don't forget, what's our knowledge born degree in the alphabet? Self and savior. We didn't save people from all kinds of shit. When you say knowing the science of swine and still consuming it is bananas, they never knew it. You was just regurgitating it. You was just regurgitating it because that was giving you, access to whatever benefit of being a 5%. You might have been intrigued by some of the stuff that you heard, but you never really understood it for yourself. I mean, look, you got to remember, for most people, right? For most people, you coming out of religion when you coming into this knowledge, right? So your concept of who and what God is, right? And who and what God is capable of doing. See, like, look, this is what clicked for me. This is what clicked for me when I got the hang of it, man. Is when I realized that in Christianity, the people who's telling me about it, right? They trying to show and prove that God is who he is because he could break all the laws of the universe. He can split the ocean. He can make it rain, 40 days and 40 nights, he could be a disembodied voice. He can make people win a war find a wife, you know, whatever, all the miracles. But I realized that in 5%, right, you sure and prove that you God by going according to the laws of the universe. Because see, in the make-believe world, right, in the make-believe world, we just writing stories. Then yeah, the more fantastical, the better. But right here, you know what I'm saying? Right here on the planet, none of that don't work. Like I'm not going to show and prove that I'm God by jumping off the roof and trying to show that I can fly. That's not wise. And see, that's when I began to understand what brothers meant when they said the true and living God. Not the make-believe guy of on the paper, right? That you might be trying to figure that out because you might have had these questions because those questions is not answered in the religion where you came from. You either have faith, and then if you don't have enough faith, you left with questions. But that's the whole thing. When you see the lesson, right, and it says searching for that does not exist, you could be searching in the right place. And still be searching for that does not exist in that place. Lord Kashim said, God is the word used to describe the black man today. Don't know what we would call thousands of years ago. I mean, was that necessary thousands of years ago? So you're saying, yes, it was necessary for us to, I mean, because, you know, if there's no devil, then that's kind of like, you know, what we sitting around talking about that for? Divine King, which, you know, what's the point of us sitting around saying that we God? You want? What you do on the internet? You said there's always been devil ways, just not after devil. I mean, I see your point. I see your point, but you know, just like you look, you got the Christian world, you got the Asiatic world, you got various worlds that you're in, right? So, you know, we in a world right now where language is used a certain kind of way, right? But here's the thing, what I'm saying. I could just be the black man. Right? And still have all the powers. You got to remember that language, all that language and how we describing things, right? That's flexible. You see what I'm saying? Regardless, see, look, that's one of the reasons why I'm not into that 5% NGE thing. Cause see, whichever one you pick, right? it's not going to change. It's not going to change nothing for me. So when you say you're just not a 5% Quasheen, right? What you mean by that? Because you know what I'm seeing right now? Eric Cook. See, one thing I'm seeing right now is that we've been an example. And there's a lot of people now that's trying to, you know, they trying to follow our blueprint. And so you got other people saying that they 5%, you know, they trying to follow our blueprint. See, these is all the things that I'm saying. But they ain't showing proof out there in the world, Craig. You said the only thing that separates us from the 85% is what we study. I disagree with that. And look, this disagreement, I mean, this is the way I look at things, right? Is that you know, this got to be in you, not on you. Like whatever you study, right? It's gonna have to spark something that's already in you. But you could, you know, that's one of the things we're talking about right now. How it's people that memorize the lessons and regurgitated them, right? But this was never in them. They was never this. You said, show me in the knowledge degree in 1 to 10 what separates us from the 85%. Well, everything after Asiatic black men. You know what I'm saying? See, we are the Asiatic black men, right? That's how the original man is an Asiatic black man, right? That's based on our parents being original people, right? But now you got to make it an owner, cream of the planet Earth, father, civilization, God of the universe, right? No matter what you know, is how you do those things. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, you the maker and the owner. You know 120 lessons, right? But you make the devil. See, that's when we really get to see, like, yeah, Asiatic black man. That's a generic thing. But see, now when we get to what you made, right? Cream of the planet Earth. What you was the best at? You was the best at righteousness, or you was the best at devilishment, right? Or was you the best, right, at searching for trillions of years, right? Because see, it's okay. We the Asiatic black man. Now, if you're gonna manifest things, right? If you're gonna manifest things where you're gonna be able to see God in yourself. You said I didn't make the devil. That was 60,000 other people. Indeed, I'm not saying you made the devil. I'm just saying that these is the things where we say we know a tree by the fruit it bears. I'm saying that after Asiatic black man, we start seeing the fruit that it bears, right? So after Asiatic black man, like I said, if you can't look inside yourself and see God, then you're going to search out there for trillions of years. And you can know the lessons. it's still got to spark something that's inside of you. See, we say that we give the people the knowledge, but really we bring it out of them. And that's why, sometimes, look, I don't lose no time searching for that does not exist. Because it's not a whole lot that you got to tell somebody if this is in them. So, me trying to beat you in the head and tell you the black man is God for years, months, and days, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I give you this, but really, I don't even put that on 120, right? But the knowledge of supreme mathematics, right, and supreme alphabet, right? This knowledge of who we are is the only thing that could power us to be who we are. See, without that, right, in some form, even if you don't know it formally in the sense that we know it, right, that kind of knowledge is the only thing, right, that can make you activate the 5. Arm, leg, arm, supreme head. You're not gonna eat no food or put your finger in the light socket or nothing like that, and then you're going to be able to be God. The only thing that could power you past 6 into 7, right, is the knowledge of self in the supreme mathematics of the universe. Almighty say cool. It's been a minute. I remember you, but it's been a minute since you've been on. You said they survive side by side with us. They endure the same pain. They feed their families, go to work just like us. Yeah, they do. I wouldn't say just like us. Because, see, like you said, the knowledge of self, man, you know what I'm saying? And once you really, you able to look at life, you practice looking at life through breaking down 120 lessons and all of that, right? That affects everything that you're doing. That affects everything that you're doing. Like when you interact with everybody, the way how you interact with people is different. So I'm sure most people can tell you, that look, wherever I'm at, no matter what my job is, right, whether it's formal or informal, yeah, the 85s there, they on a different wavelength. He said they apply them daily without them even knowing. Some of us more, some have more than us as a nation, and most heard the same stories in the Bible. I mean, see, well, it's difficult for me to determine what you're saying right now because look, everything is mathematics. Everybody is applying mathematics. Most people is just applying them out of order. Like, so you see various orders out there, right? Where some people, they got 2 before 1 in their mathematics. And some people, they got 0 before 1 in their mathematics. And some people just be freestyling, caught before the horse, born before knowledge. You see, it's all mathematics. Wise Savior got a lot. Oh yeah, I remember you. You tried to challenge the guy for the New Balance. That's what I was like. I knew it was something. I knew it was something. That was you. The lessons say they do not know. Not they are not. Yeah, they don't know what though. That's they don't know. They don't know who God is. See, that's just the first cipher that our knowledge have to add is of ourselves. You see, if a person experiment long enough, right, they're gonna find the truth. But see, supreme mathematics, right, is something that's precise. It's something that's in order, where you don't have to make all those mistakes, right, in order to learn what's right. Okay, when you say don't mean they not, this is what I'm saying. Not what? All right, now when you say they not God, right? You mean hold on. I forgot we on the listening. When you say they not God, right? Are you speaking of a verb or a noun? You're saying that they're God. And I can't so you saying that the 85, you saying the 85s is God's without the knowledge. I'm asking if that's what you're saying. You said the 14th degree and the 1 in 40 tells you they God and don't know. Where you gotta break that one down for me. You gotta break that one down for me. That, nah, that's not a cello. That's a bass. Tell her, look, I could play like 2 songs, not the whole way. I'm saying I could like if I had the mic hooked up, right? If I had the mic hooked up, I could play a couple of little bass lines. But I haven't had no lessons. I just figured it out. I just figured it out from playing along with different whistle names. But you know, my stuff is over here. The keyboard and all that stuff. That's where I mostly do my thing. But yeah, that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up. I need to get into that. Watch some tutorials or something. Right? You said who is the 85%, right? But you said that the degree says. You said that the degree says that they God, but they don't have the knowledge. True. I don't know what you're doing on the internet anyway, man. You know the internet is dangerous now. But like you said, I see. Yeah, it said people who do not know the true and living God or their origin in this world and worship what they know not, who are easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right direction. But what I'm saying is, where did it say that they God? Yeah, they origin in this world don't necessarily mean that they God. Because remember, 85%, 10%, and 15% is not racial. That's not colors or ethnicities or however you want to look at it. So what if they origin, meaning like, look, you got colored people, yeah, there's Caucasian 85%. You got colored people that they never heard of Yaku. You know, even if we're not going to deal with Yaku, right? They got no idea. They just, you say God got a birth record. Wait, how did that come into it? God having a birth record. I thought we was just using God. God got a birth record. So why Savior said he has a question? You sure? Because last time you said you was on the run from some people. Yeah, I don't understand what that means when you say God got a birth record. Yeah, I mean, but that's something else. But why Savior? Uh, I mean, I hate to come at your neck like that, but you one of these people. You said if you're not God by nature and you became God the day you got knowledge, then you have birth record. Then you have a birth record. No, that's what you say. All that's what you say. Because I don't know about God by nature. See, if you God by nature, right, then nature had to exist before you. Nature is the power, you know. And like I said, you didn't become God that day. You came to the realization that you was God that day because it was already in you. You're saying that on the day the person gets knowledge, now they can be God. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that first, right? You got to come to the realization of who you are, and then you have to grow into the realization of who you are in life. You said that you had to be God already, yeah, or not God already. People who's so why Savior says, do you see us as divine beings? I mean, this is what I'm saying, man. When I say, yeah, we speaking on the black man. And what I'm saying is that, look, just like there's the truth is out there in the atmosphere. And some of us respond positively to it, and some of us don't. The last time I checked, right, what we say is that if it doesn't affect you positively, you're not one of us. Now, when you say divine beings, right, right, I don't know about nobody calling you 10%. I ain't see that. But when you say divine beings, what you mean by that? See, I got to be clear with you because, see, for the people who you might just be, and you might think I'm being funny with him, you got to remember that the last class we was here, he said the black woman is God. What'd you say? She's half of God. I can't even recall what it is, but this is why you gotta do the knowledge. He said not just the black man, also the black woman and the black baby. So this is what I'm saying. When you say divine, are you talking about something holy? Are you talking about something holy, or are you talking about something great? You talking about something that has not been mixed, diluted, and tempered with? Or you talking about, you know, translucent, translucent beings? So Alex Johnson says God don't bleed. I mean, I don't know. Uh, I'll put the link in here again. I don't know if y'all want to cause I told you I don't know what's going on now. But recently, it's just been a lot of people trying to challenge the guy for the new belts. Oh, you say God doesn't have a menstrual cycle. All right, that's something different. I was about to say, you said, yes, I mean holy from within. Uh, uh, who's the sign, man? Hold on. Because somebody else said something up here. Oh, yeah. So you say you meant holy from within. Yeah, nah, we not holy. Is anybody? What is the definition of holy? Somebody get me. Somebody out there get me the uh, the dictionary definition of holy. I mean, holy is just it's a made up concept. I don't know what unholy divine is. He said, okay, so definition one of holy: exalted or worthy of complete devotion as one perfect in goodness and righteousness. See, that's what I'm saying. This is you say, where's your dollar? You better put dollar in the super chat. Well, if you're talking about this, you know, this, this religious type of holy, no. You know what I'm saying? We divine, you know what I'm saying? We divine because we got all these aspects. See, in every atom, right? Cells is made of atoms, right? People got organs. Organs is made of cells. Cells is made of atoms, right? Atoms is made of positive and negative. And so, this type of holy concept, this, all knowing, translucent being that exists everywhere and nowhere at the same time, right, is a made up concept. Now, if, like I said, right, if you're talking about divine, in the sense that something is great, yeah, we great, right? Because we have all of that. So, well, I guess why Savior thought that was funny. But why Savior? I did. Did you know that I got a word. I got a word about you. I got a word about you. You know, and I was gonna let it go. Cause see, look, I saw your name. If you had just left it alone, it didn't jog my memory all the way at first. But so you said that you don't go around the cipher of the gods, right? But the word I got is that you're not allowed around the cipher of the gods, and that you, uh, Mr. Believing in Goddesses, that one of the main reasons that you're not allowed amongst the cipher of the gods and earths is because you was harassing one of the sisters. You know, and I remember you having some harsh words. I remember you having some harsh words for the brothers in your area, right? About who they are and what they do, you know, and I see you, and I mean, not for nothing. Doesn't that tend to be a characteristic of these people that be talking this kind of stuff? That they're very abusive towards women. You say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. You said show and prove you harass sisters. I mean, look. Is it just me? If somebody pull my coat, I keep telling y'all, man, don't never let me just keep going on, right? Because this is look, billions of people can see YouTube. Billions of people can see YouTube. Now I'm just saying. Let's take random sisters out of it, right? We got mostly brothers on this channel. Now let's say if you went up to this brother, right, and you said, "Yo, man, you know, I got some word that you was harassing my daughter," and his answer was, "Show prove I harassed your daughter." Now listen. Is that the wrong answer or what? If I'm wilding out, somebody pull my coat and say, "Nah, that answer, that's a neutral answer." That answer is not suspect at all. If it's not suspect, please stop me. Don't let me go on. Man. I'm trying to pause right now and stay on this topic so y'all can stop me, right, before I go on. Oh, so now after all this time, now you call me a liar. Okay. Well, look, like I said, that's the word that I got. That look, the brothers spoke up for themselves, right? You came up and said that the brothers in that area ain't no good, right? They're not worthy. They're not worthy of your holy presence, right? And then I'm just saying, okay, you put that on this side of the scale right now. Look, somebody put that on that side of the scale, and then you know what I'm saying? if I don't, I don't see the necessity to, have to, have to go through it. But look, here's one thing that can show and prove. You could go to the rally. If you said you don't go to the rally because the brothers there ain't no good, and the brother said you can't come to the rally because they ran you away. So see, I could talk all I want. Ain't no paperwork on that. Ain't no paperwork. Yeah, that's what I should do. Hey, look, hold up. Let me see if I can catch it. If I can play the air violin over here for you. Wait, let me see. There you go. Oh, there you go. I'll play the air violin for you. Down here. Let me play the air violin for you. See that? I play the air violin for you, man. You know what I'm saying? But look, that's the simple. All you gotta do, look, let me see you at the rally, because you said that you don't go there because of your choice. Cause see, here's the thing. Everything about you is an accusation, bro. Remember, you scared to come on the live stream because you said, brothers, you scared. You scared to come on the live stream because you said you can't show your face. So nothing about you is showing and proving. You came on making accusations against the 5% in your area. Right? Right? And look, you have shown yourself to be phony in some ways. Remember, it took me about an hour to get you to admit that you was with the Muslim guys. Remember, I kept asking you questions, and you was trying. You was like, "Yeah, man, I got the knowledge in this area at this time." And then finally, you admitted that you used to be with Wayne and Wesley and some other brother whose name I don't know. I can't recall right now, but see, I know Wayne and Wesley. I know who they are for a minute now. So, I'm just listening. The other person who told me that they could be lying, but see, we know that you play fast and loose with the truth. See, we know that you have things that you try to hide. Now, what I don't know if you know, right, is I don't take things on face value like that. You said never admitted that you a snake of the grafted type. You said never admitted that you snake of the grafted type. Okay, well, who was you with? Because that's what you said. You said Wayne Wesley, and then at the end, you try to sneak Rob Maryland. I mean, we could do that tomorrow if that's what you want to do, Eric Cook. But see, then you would have to show your face at the least. But we could get Rob Mel. We could get Rob Mel on the live stream tomorrow, right? And then we can see. Cause see, we ain't got to go back and forth. That's what I'm saying. We come on, man. I thought we the five. I thought we the 5. Right? So we got to go back and forth. You know, you call me a lie. So we can easily we can prove it. That's how we do that. We don't, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna say I'm a liar, I'm gonna say I'm not, you're gonna say I'm a liar, I'm gonna say I'm not. I know you are, but what am I? Nah, we don't do that. You said you told me you met Ramel Gadala. So look, you know, I think the question was fairly clear. You know, the question was, you know, we started with where you got the knowledge and when. Right? And when you told me that, right, because it was things that you were saying, and I asked you, I was like, yo, you Muslim God? And you said no. And when you said you got the knowledge in Atlanta in 1991, I said, are you sure you're not Muslim God? You said, nah. So I asked you, man, who was the brothers you was building with in 1991? Like how you know, was you brought up Wayne, Wesley, a third name, right? And then after that, you tried to bring up Ramel. See, now, right now, we don't need to show and prove. We just need to let you cook. We let you cook. We letting you cook right now. We letting you show and prove everything. See, this is why Yoda Man. That's quite a name. Yo, look, I'm gonna tell you, you know, Yoda's one of my favorite characters. I'm not sure how you get that. But I do, I love Yoda. Yeah, but I'm just saying, right? That but yeah, welcome to the channel, Yoda Man. But yeah, getting back to the point there though. Getting back there to the point, Mr. Wise Savior. See, and then here's the thing, because these last couple of live streams, right? I've been getting more people. Tomorrow you will show and prove. What you gonna show and prove tomorrow? Let's be clear. You need me to participate with you? Because if you need me to participate with you, maybe that's not you showing and prove. But when you say you're gonna show and prove tomorrow, why you can't show and prove today? Right? Don't say my name. Why you can't show and prove today? What is it that you're gonna do tomorrow? Right? Prepare us. Prepare us. Prepare us for the coming of the Lord. So tomorrow you're gonna show and prove that I'm a liar. Okay, now specifically, what's the lie that I told? Because see, here's the thing. This stuff is on audio and video tape. You're not the first person that came on here. It's like, bro, this is on audio and video tape. I'm fairly sure this occurred. There's a live that I did about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, right? It's a 4-hour live, right? And one of the reasons why I came 4 hours, right, is because you came on talking, right? Now, it's possible, I think it is, right? If you look in the comments of that video, right? Everybody that's in earshot right now, if you look in the comments of that video, there's a brother, I'm pretty sure his name is Divine. And he's the one, right, who said that the individual that you talking to right there, the individual that you talking to right there, yeah, we had to run him away. We had to run him from amongst us, right? And one of the reasons was that you was harassing women. Now that's an actual fact. And see, like I said, I got a word. I didn't say I seen you harassing women. I didn't say I was the one that ran you away. But indeed, that's where I got that from, right? And see me, look, here's the thing. I waited till I seen you. I didn't say that I didn't go on the live stream the next day. If you could look in the comments, you don't see me adding on to it. See? And when I asked you about it, right, you said, show and prove I harassed. You said, show and prove I harassed you, someone. And so I thought that was suspect. You know, I thought that was suspect. But that's where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't recommend that you come up on charges. I didn't say that, look, you need to serve a penalty for that. Apparently, it was handled. You said I'm a liar, but you didn't. I just told you the signs. I just told you the signs of where that came from. And I just told everybody how to go and check it. So see, we could talk and talk and talk and talk, right? But see, what you could do, right, is show us, right? You could show us that you don't go around the guys by your own choice, by going around the guys. See, let me tell you something, man. A lot of people may be confused, like y'all hear people talking. See, I know right now I'm in the room by myself, right? But building, when people be saying like, yo, you true and living, yeah, but who you living around? Where you living at? Where's this going on at? Like, you know how, look, you ever been like apartment hunting? And you know, when you go in there, there's nothing in there because nobody's living in there. There's no evidence of nobody being in there because ain't nobody living in there. When you look in the refrigerator, ain't no leftovers because ain't nobody living in there. You look in the freezer, ain't nothing in there, right? Ain't nothing in there because ain't nobody living in there. True Light said, "It's the first time I've heard I shall improve tomorrow." Look, I'm waiting for him to tell us what he going to do. What you going to do? Wait, is it a surprise? How you going to surprise us? How you going to surprise us by showing proof? But yeah, that's my question, right? Where you living at? Why you can't? Why? See, Sir Love, that's it. That's a low blow, Sir Love. You didn't have to hit him like that. You see, this is what I'm saying, man. Look, see, people gotta realize, man. People gotta realize that. See, remember I said, man, God of the universe. See, some people, man, you over there, you God over there, right? And that little square over there, you God. Like you gotta, you you God. But see, when you come out here with the universal gods, you want to be exposed as not being universal. See, this is how you exist in a world. So he can exist in a world, right? He can exist in a world. See, look, I hope you ain't got nobody looking at this with you. Because look, I seen that happen to a lot of people, right? I seen that happen to a lot of people, right? Where look, they got all these people over here thinking they God Almighty. And then the brothers come through, or they bring those people, amongst the whole cipher, right? And then those people that they bring amongst, when they see that this person, like, yeah, over there, you moving like you got all the knowledge. But when you go amongst the gods, when you go amongst where brothers got that knowledge, yeah, you a dense. You're not even allowed to speak around them. That's why I said I hope you ain't got nobody looking at this with you. You know what I mean? Because you don't want them to see you like this. But you said tomorrow you're gonna show and prove I'm a liar. I just want to look. I'm just saying, like, do you need me? What you need me to do? Let me set you up. Do you need me to come on at a particular time? You know what I'm saying? You need me, because look, the link is right here. I put the link in there again. You need me to do the links. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need to share your screen. You know what I'm saying? See, I don't want tomorrow to come, right? And then you say for some reason that's something that I did, right? Naru ain't talking to you. You see, that's the type of bullshit I'm talking about. See, Naru came in and said peace, right? So then Eric Cook will say peace, Naru, like that's his people. You see? Yeah. You see? You see how people play, man? Okay, Naru, you answer the question. You know that guy? You know? See, there's Naru right there. I'm saying peace to the cipher, man. Who you? You see how people, man, I don't know how the world came to this whole name dropping thing, man. And you know what I'm saying? That was smooth though. That was smooth. But getting back to my question though, is what I'm saying is, do you need me? You need me to go live at a certain time? You know what I'm saying? You need me, like, see, right now we got the stream y'all on where you can come on the live. You know what I'm saying? If you need to come on the live, you got a live, you want me to come on the live where you at? You know what I'm saying? You know, you got some other people you wanna get. That's what I'm saying. Like how we how we wanna do it. See, I don't want no excuses, right? I don't want no excuses. You see what I'm saying? I don't want you to. I don't want to give you the power to say I was ducking. that's see, that's the main thing right there. See, I don't want you or nobody else to think I'm ducking. You know, so I see, you saying you're going to show and prove tomorrow. Like I said, we all still wondering why you can't show and prove today. We all still wondering why you can't show and prove today. And, yeah, I mean, look, you pulled up in a situation where I was trying to explain to people how it's like, you know, you said you'll be on tomorrow. I have lied on you. Yeah, you're gonna be on where? CNN, MSNBC. You're gonna be on where? That's you gotta see. Look, you dealing with the 5%. You expect us to just be assuming all this stuff? Save the best for last. So, I mean, I guess what you're saying is I'm the best. Since since you I guess what you're saying is I'm the best since you saving since you saving since you saving exposing me for tomorrow. I guess reasonable people could agree that you're saying there that I'm the best. So you know what that means now. If you come at the best, you better not miss. you, you better, ah, you know. Guys, listen, man. But yeah, these is all the various types of people, right? This is what I'm saying. If you're new to this, or if you just might be watching this to pass the time, right? These is the various people that's walking around saying that they us. These is the various people that's walking around saying that they us. See, this is why you gotta be aware, right? This is why you gotta be aware of the fact that our language is relatively easy to learn. So see, you have a lot of people that can speak our language. But see, the same way I can learn Russian, and that won't make me Russian. So you gotta have some kind of lineage. See, in the 5%, just like in pretty much anything else, right? There's a lineage of how all of us got into this. This is not something where you just buy one of these shirts and now you this. See, this is, this is a family. And so just like with any other family, right? Let's say you at the family reunion. Right? And you see somebody, look, they're a whole other ethnicity. And listen, they going in. They didn't eat half the pan of macaroni and cheese. And don't nobody, right? Don't nobody know who this person is. Right? So you ask the person, look, who you related to? I think that's what I do at family reunions. I see people I don't know, who you related to. I've had people come and ask me who you related to. Right? Now they may have never seen me, but they know my mom, right? Or they know my pops. Or they might know my brother or my sister, but just for whatever reason, I never. This is not something where you just, you hear a couple of songs. This is not something where you hear a couple of songs, right? And then you this. And I don't know of many things that's the case. Moreover, just like stupid is as stupid does, see, God is as God does. So if a person comes up and tell you that they a football player, right? You're not gonna ask them what team they play for. You're not gonna realize that there's a level between you talking about, you play a little catch on the block, or you play high school, or you play college, or you played in the CFL or the NFL or whatever it is. See, when these people show up like this, right, with no history, right, and now you say, hey, look, if I lied on you, right, like I said, I could right now, I'm on my what's the name. See, I'm broadcasting from my phone. If I wasn't broadcasting on my phone, I would pull up the video. I would pull up the video with the comment on it that you would run away from the cipher of gods and earths. And one of the reasons was because you was harassing sisters or a sister. And see, the way you're very persistent in what you're doing right now. You're kind of displaying a little bit of I'm not going to say you're stalking, but it's stalkish. But you know that look, that was it. That was you know, I just wanted to ask you about that. But you know, we can move on and you know, I've asked you if you're gonna need my assistance. I've asked you if you're gonna need my assistance in anything as far as, you know, if you wanted to do something particular here on my platform, right? If you wanted to do something particular here on my platform to do your show and improvement, I didn't want to make a barrier. I didn't. So True Light. So you saw the comments, True Light? Did did you see the comment I'm speaking on? But yeah, I didn't want to. I don't want to provide a barrier. I don't want to provide a barrier for you. Uh, to be able to do what you're doing. Okay, so you're not going to need nothing from me. Oh man, that's a low blow right there, man. Call me a black devil? But you know, these various things, those is, I mean, let's say I'm a black devil. Let's give you that. Show me you can go to the rally though. see, I know how to focus. I understand all that, right? But just let me see you go to the rally. Let me see you go to the rally, right? And say peace to that brother that said you was ran away. That's all that's all you gotta do. Because don't forget, you told us that you can't show your face. Now you got to break that down. I know I said it was over, but look, I just got that one last question. This, look, this one last time, right? How you could be God and you can't show your face? I'm saying theoretically, hypothetically, not saying. I'm saying like not you, right? How can one, right? Let's speak like that. How can one be God while not being able to show their face? Yeah, I mean, see, look, the Supreme Judge. That's why I ain't going back and forth with him, right? That's it. That's exactly what it is. See, all this, you know, is I don't know. It's not a slang for that yet. It's not a slang for that. Like, what you call that? Like, what is this? What is this? Screen banging or something? What you call this? It's not a name for that. Where you saying all this stuff about somebody, right? That would create an unpredictable situation if y'all was face to face, right? But you keep saying it on certain level. Now it's trolling, but this is a particular kind of trolling, right? There's a particular kind of trolling, right? Where it's, you know, some, I don't know what you call it. Right? Where you know, you saying all these things You know what I'm saying? And it's like, knowing full well that you out of reach. See that, it's nothing in that. All I want you to do is go to the rally, right? That you said you stopped going to on your own, right? And I just hypothetically, look, anybody else on the live stream, if you could tell me how it's possible, if you could tell me how it's possible for one to be God, right? And they can't show their face. Because I'm saying, I would think automatically, right? That's saying that your freedom is compromised. See, because remember, that's two things right there, right? See, me, I don't build prison houses. I bring you from amongst me. So I don't lock you in a small cell. I got my small area where I'm at, where you stay away from me. I ain't got no time to be watching you. You go wherever, but you're not free to come over here. See, understand that, right? About the 5% that we don't build prison houses to lock people in. We just run people away. So see, all this right here, that's why this could be made simple. You can show your face, you know, right here, right now, but where you really need to show your face at, right, is in your community. That's what I'm saying. I can't see, for me personally, I don't know how you're going to do that. See, because that's all a part. See, that's what I'm saying. That's another part. You could know the lessons, but if you scared to speak up, what difference it make? All right. 7/8/2025. So what, you marking this day? Is this all up? Is this gonna be the day that you put that there? So that could be the day to mark that day. Hey, look, when you showed and prove that Darkim Law was a liar about you being ran away from the cipher of the guys. Okay, so look, we'll be there. We'll be there. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, uh, this is the part. Uh, this is the part that you know. I always say, look, you got a definition of who is the 5% in the lessons. And see, those people that don't really know these teachings, they think that lesson is the foundation of this, but it's not. See, brothers chose that because they felt it best describe who they was and what they was doing. You know, we didn't come out of that degree. This nation didn't come out of that degree. And so, see, what happens, right, is that you got a lot of people that fit that definition in that degree, right? Or at least they try to. And then what you have is people who have been living openly and notoriously as the 5% for decades. And see, that's what you gotta realize, right? That he's not one of us. Then let me not say him, because he said tomorrow he gonna show and prove. So let me not lie on him again. let me not lie on him again. But you got to realize that there's a difference between them. See, there's a difference. See, let me tell you something, man. You got the commentators, right? You got, I'm talking about in sports. So you got people that give all this commentary, never played the game. You never coached the game. And shout out to you. But I'm just saying, as an individual, right? When you paying attention and you listening, right? You know, or this person proposes that they could teach you something about the game or whatever. You got to look at that. See, if you go to the doctor, right? Because look, the stuff that we telling you, right? This is going in your mind. The stuff that anybody's telling you is going in your mind. Would you let somebody operate physically on your head without knowing their track record? If somebody told you, oh yeah, you know, the American Medical Association licensing board, right? Yeah, I don't go around them. I don't like them. Yeah, now I ain't got my license because I'm better than them. Would you let that person operate on your head? So why are you going to listen? Why are you going to listen to people that tell you that? And look, this is for you too. Why, Savior, I'm asking you, why would I listen to you in this what you telling me? Let alone all the evidence that you given me through your own behavior. See, look, you're new to the channel, you don't understand. Don't experiment with me. I'm high explosives. Don't experiment with me. But this is the things, look, I'm telling you. If you're new to this, that's how you got to look at it. That's what you got to understand. Because see, somebody tell you some bullshit, right? And take you in a whole other direction of life. See, remember, see, just that right there, right? Whatever the point is, right? We got all these, we got who, what, where, when, why, and how. I deal with that. I deal with that whenever somebody's talking to me. Who is this person? What is this that you telling me? What is the real facts here? What is happening? Where you was at? How you know about this? How you find out? Well, why would they do that? Why would something like that? See, I do that. Maybe not formally, but I'm saying in my mind, yeah, I'm all those questions got to be answered. Especially if you expect me to change my life, right, according to what you're saying, right, or do something, somehow activate off of what you're saying, or go repeat that to somebody else. See, I'm gonna ask you all them questions and make you sure I'm proved, right? Because now I'm not gonna go to tell somebody, oh yeah, this point A right here, right? I'm gonna give you a whole paragraph, and then when you ask me them questions, I'm gonna say, oh, well, I gotta go ask the bar. Well, yeah, I don't know, but you can ask True Light. I'm saying before that becomes a part of the knowledge that I'm making more. It's something, yeah, I took heed to what a person said. And if at some future point I come in tune with some more knowledge, right, that shows me that what you were saying was right and exact. You see, if you're dealing with this, man, look, the very first thing, is to know. The very first thing is to know. See, somebody talked about by nature earlier. See, the first law of nature is what? Self-preservation. That means you gotta know who you are, and you gotta know who's these people around you. See, you gotta know that, just like, I said that, the knowledge of self and the knowledge of the order of the universe, right, is what this is what is the power of God, right? Let me tell you something. Negativity, blood sucking, that's the power of some people. See, when you in a cipher, right, you there because like attract. But there's some people there because unlike attract. See, there's some people that come into the cipher of the righteous because that's where the fresh blood is. That's where the fresh blood to be sucked is. See, just like we say our duty is amongst the dead, right? Our duty is amongst the civilized. What do you think the devil duty is amongst? And that's why you gotta be aware. That's why you gotta be aware. You know what I'm saying? Now for me, for number one, See, that's where you gotta understand. See, look, that's why we ain't pro-black. See, remember that? Look, peace ain't no password. And that's why you got to do the knowledge that, you know, there's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? There's people that know about what we teach. Like they know if they see this flag, right? They know that, oh, he's a 5%. You know what I'm saying? He thinks the black man's a God. But if I start speaking this language, you know what I'm saying? If I start speaking this language, he wouldn't recognize it. Like we could speak, we could have a conversation in front of him, and he can't speak it. See, everybody like to talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's for the new people. To see how you live it out. See, when you get to culture, see, what did you use the power that you got from that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? What did you use that power for? Did you deal with supreme equality or did you deal with limitations? See, that's the thing. See, when you those a lot of the people talking about they used to be 5%, they never did. Most of them never got past wisdom. How many of them could quote 120? Just quote it. Let alone understand it or ever lived it out. So see, that's why you never was a 5% because you didn't go from knowledge to born. You never completed that cipher. Look, here's the thing. Just be aware. Like if you new to this knowledge, right, or you thinking about getting this knowledge, be aware that, you know, back in the days when we said you gotta know the ledge, you gotta know the ledge so you don't fall off the edge. That's part of the edge. That's down there in the abyss. Where you never really went from knowledge to born besides talking. See, see, you hear a lot of them terms, lip professing, job pretender. See, this is when you really have to understand that this is not about competing with each other about who can quote this and who can quote that. That is that's a part of our culture. Quoting lessons, that's our tradition. But that's just a part of it. But at any rate, we got any questions out there? You know, I got Actually, I gotta go cook right now. Go put something in the oven. But yeah, other than that, we still got tomorrow and everything. Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow could be this is probably the biggest day in my 5% career. Like the whole time I've been at 5%, right? Is about to boil down to tomorrow. It's about to boil down to tomorrow when the brother come on and show and prove that I'm alive. He said there's two sides of the cipher, inside and outside. Eric could place himself outside of the 4-hour live. I mean, look. Look. People disqualify themselves. Just like they qualify themselves. See, like you don't never see nobody being God, right? And I'm like, whoa, now slow down. Right? Because see, I can't control the speed at which you qualify or disqualify yourself. See, like you got the young guys, they just, not just, they had the knowledge for a minute now, but, relatively, they knew the knowledge, but you know, they elevated their wisdom and understanding, right? And no limitation of time. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, yo, God, I don't know if you're ready or whatever, at least not based on the time. If you're not ready to teach, you're not ready to teach. Right? I can't say, well, nah, the amount of time that people average to be qualified is this much time, so you're gonna have to wait until that average time passes. Because see, like I said, right, this knowledge got to spark something inside of you. It's not sparking nothing inside of me. I'm not, when I'm building with, I got the knowledge. So see how bright, right? How intense that spark becomes, right? How fast it burns, how long it burns. That's all based. That person got to deal with that, and I could just observe. You know, some people get mad. Some people get mad because I voice my observations at times. There's 65 people viewing. I don't know. Something happened. Somebody did something. I think somebody must be linking this out or something to where, yeah, we getting a lot more. We getting a lot more people, coming in and I guess seeing what we about. But don't get caught up because you know that could be 25 FBI agents. Hey, listen, and they could be assigned to various ones of us. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like one agent is on there for me, one agent is on there for you. See, I don't get caught up. See, That's that thing where, you know, just because people hate you, then you automatically think you a player. See, I'm hip. But you know, couple people, they came in and said peace though. We do got some new people that said peace. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I guess we'll take them off. We'll take them off the. You know, we ain't gonna look for their paperwork. But yeah, back to the what's the name? We got any last questions, man? Any last questions? My battery ain't doing too good right now either. We down. We getting down to the nitty gritty of the percentages. My physical was what that was last Wednesday. I got 2 more days to go. I got 2 more days to go. Like, look, have y'all noticed that I've been doing this less? That's because of how healed up I am now. You know, it's still a little, but you know, you ain't see me doing all that stretching out because of, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't see me work the magic over here on the rings. I'm gonna do some sets. I'm gonna do some clips. Right now, it's too hot in here. Though. I told y'all my air conditioning is loud. You know, I don't want to replace it because it's still it's cool. It cool everything down. So I ain't trying to be all fancy, but yeah. See, Eric, now you see me a little bit. This is seeming a little bit like you know, and I'm saying this with compassion. I'm saying this with compassion. Is that this a little bit of like being on a spectrum behavior right here? Like you're kind of compulsively blurting out the same thing over and over. You know, we heard you, right? I'm a liar. So uh, where's the paperwork? Where's the receipts? You know, this YouTube, man. You know, you gotta go all the way. Are you gonna respect the platform? Hey, well, look, the platform respects you too. See, I tell you this much, Eric Cook. Even the devil get a chance to clean himself up. Yo, Jula TV, bust how I was over there, and I didn't have my camera on me, G. Yo, G, word is barred. I was right there. I was right there. Yes, I saw that, G.O.D. But I didn't have the camera on me. But look, I just charged the batteries up, and I got the straps. I got the straps. Put the cam on. Yeah, go back out, man. You know, a lot of my content. Yeah, I gotta get back on my content. Eric Cook. Eric Cook can't exile nobody because he don't want to show his face. I can tell you right now, right, when I got the knowledge, you could not be that. That would have been impossible. Like even this right here, you know, this was a big step for a lot of us, G. This was a big step for a lot of us. Uh, you know, to be on the internet and do all of this because there was a time we didn't even build on the phone. You gotta remember, you know, one thing, people is much more comfortable with their phones now because you own it. It's a cell phone. But like back in the days, you know, you might be, say you had a brother's rest, right? And then somebody else, another brother might call, you know, you don't know the brother, he'd be like, yeah, you know, I got the guys over here, you know what I mean? Then you might be like, oh, you know what I'm saying, yo, greet the guy, right? So, you know, peace, yeah, you know, my name is X, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my name is Y, you know what I'm saying? Yo, peace, you know what I'm saying? All right, yo, you know, when we see each other, we gonna build. But there was no building on the phone. Like you was gonna have to, you was gonna have, I mean, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like, you know, you had to, but you're gonna go outside, it's gonna be ciphers, right? And you're gonna have to be in those ciphers to say that you got it. You see what I'm saying? Hey, look, isn't this a redundant question? Complete. What's your attribute? Ah, man. That's like, hey, look, that's like we're back in the days, right? Before we had cell phones, when people used to call you at your house, right? Somebody call you at your house and be like, where you at? You see, now that we got cell phones, that's a valid question. But before that, I used to be like, what kind of dumb shit? Somebody call you at your house. Somebody call you at your house and ask you where you at. Or you know, you be like in the bathroom and somebody knock on the door and you be like, yeah. And they be like, you in there? Why the fuck would I be answering from inside unless I was in here? Like, isn't that, you know, maybe that's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's, you know, my supreme intelligence right there that everybody don't have. Maybe that's the uncommon sense. I don't know. You know. But on top of that, man, look, we don't have attributes. We have righteous names. See, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. The language is dope, man. The language is dope. See, yeah, those things all have, those words have origins, right? But see what happened is, especially with some of this language, right? A hierarchy was built up off of being able to use that language. You see what I'm saying? Like, see, you can't say God degree, right? You can't say God degree if you don't know the 12 Jews. Like, it's certain things, like, look, you roll up and you say Mercury, Mercury, certain people are shook cause see, you clearly, you suppose you should know at least the solar facts. And so, this kind of language, it circulates around, especially amongst the new people that's just coming into the knowledge. Yeah, hey, listen, that right there, that's the first time I heard that one. You said your Earth's name is Caucasian. That's Eddie Murphy level. I don't want to bust out laughing as hard as I want to right in case that's really anybody's name. But whew, you've just been blasted into oblivion. you, you just you've just been blasted into oblivion. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying is that's why you hear, people using a lot of that language and it became popular. But, once you hear that language, right, you pretty much, that's already telling you that this is somebody that's not universal. This is not somebody that they've been in all places, you know what I'm saying, dealing with all people. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, like, you know, people who got the knowledge in 1964 and people that got the knowledge yesterday and everything in between from all the different places where they at. Because eventually, if you do that, you're going to come in tune with Allah's teachings. You're going to come in tune with the fact that Allah didn't speak like that. He didn't speak in a way to try to sound fly, right? Or say things that some people wouldn't understand. See, like if I come in and say Mercury, Mercury, and now everybody, they, pretty much know because I said it to them when I gave them a pound, but they don't really know what that means. A lot didn't speak like that to go over people's head and stuff like that. He said, Darkim, 1964 liar. I mean, there's 1,000 directions I could go with that. But the main one I'm going to say is how How can somebody like, okay, we the 5%, right? The 5%. This is from 1964. Now, how can you say that somebody that is, you know, I guess look, let's because we like to steal lingo sometimes. We take lingo from various worlds, right? So this is from 1964, right? So look, how is it that a person is a villain for being 10 toes down, on the root principles that this was founded on? I mean, because I haven't heard you yet disqualify, or show and prove that any of those root principles is wrong. Like if you did that, then we would have a discussion. But what we have right now is I mean, basically you doing what I know the Muslim guys for, y'all all club it lane. Like y'all live to challenge the God for the new bows. Like y'all live to challenge the God for the new bows. Like y'all don't have a thing that y'all do. Y'all all look. Y'all the only black people go outside and get sunburned because y'all don't go outside. But at any rate, man, we're gonna go ahead, man. We're gonna let him get a break. We're gonna let him, go ahead, get all his ducks in a row, whatever he got to do, so he can come on tomorrow and show and prove. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, man, look, just keep going from knowledge to born, man. Don't stop at knowledge. Don't stop at wisdom. Don't stop at knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You're not complete. The cipher goes from knowledge to born. Be clear. And you'll be able to see through all this type of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, between time, you know what I'm saying? A couple new people came in, hit the like button, you know what I'm saying? The subscribe button, we come on, you're going to defend. You can defend your name now. It's too late. It's too late for you, Eric Cook. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm going to sign off and say peace. We'll be back in here tomorrow to, see what Eric Cook got for us. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else? There's a couple other people, too. I guess they stayed in the background. Because, like I said, we got a lot of, we got a lot of what's in there. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of challenges right now. I don't understand. But see, like I said, man, just you got to be aware of that, man. That people with millions of dollars, $1 billion, all types of accolades, platinum plaques, traveled the world, most beautiful women, they want to wear our flag and be us, man. and said they had a name like me. See, this is listen. Are you valuing this knowledge as much as they value? See, people look, they on TV, all of this. You know, you got your own kindergarten, but you want to come and act like you be with us. So everybody on here, you better pay attention to who you are, right? Who you are, right? And you know what this culture means, man. And I'm gonna say peace.